Grand Rising, Grand Entrance, Buick Grand National. It's a good car. What's up, everybody? It's West of the 110. Coming to you real quick this morning, with my normal Jog Talk. Uh, morning buzz for those who just got off their overnight shift that stopped at the store last night and got that 12 pack before they went in. It's good and cold at home. They may have got a double shot. They're going to shower up, eat some breakfast. If they don't have to go to work tomorrow, for the people that have the off days through the week, those people that might be off Monday night and Tuesday night, go ahead, man, get your buzz on. And for those who got to get ready to work, Jog Talk is for y'all. Maybe y'all drank last night and trying to get over it. But anyway, we're going to start off with LAUSD reaches a tentative agreement with the administrators union. So July 1st, the new starting teacher salaries will be $77,000. That's a salary increase for 2 years after that. Every 2 years, they get an increase of 11.65%. So that's a salary scale increase. They got things like part of that new agreement is faster advancements. Benefits are 4 weeks, district paid time off. That's for a duration of 2 years. This contract is lasting only 2 years. So it's still falling under the contract, I guess, that they are on, but they're modifying it. So July 1st, 2025 to June 30, 2027 is when this contract is going to be up for renewal or renegotiations. But there's still one union that still hasn't agreed, the local SEIU 99. That's the ones, that's the union that represents, like the campus aides, the custodians, the people who do the front work at these schools and stuff like that. So the local SEI union 99 negotiations, those are still ongoing. They just had 3 years ago, they had a negotiation 3 years ago. They received 30% raise increase in 2023. Now, some people say like, okay, if they got 30% raise in 2023, what are they complaining about now? Well, let me give you some numbers on that. Since that increase in 2023, approximately the cost of living in LA has risen 9.1 to 10.5%. That's cumulatively through 2026. So with that being said, yeah, you got a 30% raise in 2023. That didn't even bring you above poverty. That just kept you living check to check. And then the prices went up again. So basically, a lot of people who's working for LAUSD that aren't teachers or on, or haven't been there for years, like custodians and stuff like that, they just making enough to pay bills. And really, that's it. You got a lot of people who work for these school districts that complain that they don't get paid enough. And a lot of them are on government assistance, like, EBT, food stamps and stuff like that. And it's kind of crazy because you can go to the store now. You may see some people in like uniform. I've seen a guy, I'm not going to say what department, but it was a local government uniform that you see riding around with lights around LA. And they were paying with EBT. And it shocked the hell out of me. But I said to myself, like, you never know. That dude, just because him and maybe his wife has a good job, you never know. The way he was speaking seemed like he had a lot of kids. I got 5 kids, so I could tell when somebody got a lot of kids. And I said, shit, maybe he needed, just because he's making 100-some K a year don't mean that covers everything he needs. He might make enough to cover bills, but, the cost of living in California to raise a family over 5, you do the math. Just in general, raising a family of 5 anywhere is expensive. But that's what's going on this morning with LAUSD. So LAUSD still may be a strike tomorrow because one union still hasn't agreed. So the bottom line is like, LAUSD workers are asking for that. And part of these agreements is, there'll be less classroom sizes, 20 to 1. Meaning one teacher, you get 20 students. So LAUSD, the campus aides, custodians, support staff, they only make 30 to 50 K a year. That's not enough for a 1-bedroom in LA. At all. That's not enough for a 1-bedroom at all. $30,000 a year in LA. You know what's so crazy? A lot of people, that reminds me of this video I seen where they had this Hispanic chick. She was asking this guy, or something. And the guy, she said, I make too much for him. And he said, how much do you make? She said, I make 30,000. And he said, what? She said, I make 30,000 a year. And 30,000 a year ain't shit in LA. That's before taxes. After taxes, 30,000 a year. That's equivalent to like 20 some thousand. And hell, your rent alone is 20 some thousand, depending on where you stay. And most of the people in LA, they don't like living in the hoods or what they call the hoods. Even some people who was raised and grew up in the hood, they like to move out and live in the white areas or other areas like the upscale black areas and pay all this high ass rent. I knew this one guy staying in Hermosa Beach because he said, I don't want to live in the hood. He was paying like $2,800 a month. And this was like in 2008. Um, But yeah, so that's what's going on with LAUSD. But on another thing too, I was mentioning, I want to mention Skid Row for a second because I was watching some videos, man, and I see a lot of people come around here, to LA, make these videos about Skid Row and all this type of stuff and content, and they talk about the tragedy. They make it seem like it's its own city over there, which it is, but like visibly, it's only like 4,000 to 5,000 people that stay on Skid Row on the streets. You know what I'm saying? So that's the visible tip. But in entirety, LA County has about like 70,000 homeless in the county. But the real danger zone, I'm gonna be real, is it's the people that's paying, the taxes that's being paid, the people that's working check to check. Because that's the real danger zone. It's millions who are one, check away from financial disaster. So let's look at it like this. Skid Row homeless is about 4,000 plus, like visibly living on the street. Likelihood of the citizens out there that are homeless who are citizens, because you got some people who are illegal out there, but the citizens who are out there estimated to be about 3,200 to 3,800 U.S. citizens. LA County as a whole, 70,000 homeless, as of the last census, which numbers are still waiting to be updated for possibly more. People in LA County living paycheck to paycheck, 6 to 7 million people. So let's do the math. You got 70,000 homeless people in LA County, but in LA County, you got 6 to 7 million people living check to check. That's one check away, like I say, from being in financial disaster. So my question is to the local legislation, Mayor Karen Bass, people who are in control of the homeless money. You guys are putting a lot of time and effort trying to get people off the street. Some of them who don't want to be housed, for one. A lot of them don't want to leave drugs alone. A lot of them haven't paid attention to any rules in 20, 30, 40 years. Some never. Some of those guys out there got out there young. Parents kicked them out when they was 18. Those kids that don't want to listen, they've been living on the street. So you're going to give somebody a place to stay that really doesn't know how it goes, don't know how to pay a bill, none of this stuff. Now, if you want to help the ones out there that's looking to be helped, ain't nothing wrong with that. But my thing is, why don't LA County try to focus on these 6 to 7 million people that now I said the 6 to 7 million people that's living paycheck to paycheck. Now, these are the people paying taxes for y'all to be able to try to get rid of this homelessness. And it's kind of crazy because all the money that LA's been coming around now, you got 70,000 homeless. You got 6 to 7 million people paycheck to paycheck. So that's 6 to 7 million people in LA County or California paying taxes, because all tax money in California is spent through California. Don't you see where I'm going with this? Don't you think some of the millions and millions of money that's being diverted to help the homeless should be diverted to help also some of the people who's been feeding in the taxes so y'all can get the homeless off the street? Because it's easier to help somebody keep their house rather than house a whole family off the street. So it's like, when is the local government going to set aside some real support for the people living paycheck to paycheck? Like the same people pay taxes who funded homelessness programs. Why does it feel like support only comes when you lose? Basically, that's how it seems. Like if you go right now to get some support or get some kind of aid from any kind of local government and you working, they're going to give you the runaround. And if you do end up getting some kind of support, it's going to be the bare minimum. And it's kind of crazy. It's like, damn, they'll give you a couple $100 to feed your family, but somebody can come there. Well, in LA, they have a section in LA where you can call and go online, it says if you don't have a social security number, you still can get help. So you know what that means. So you mean to tell me if somebody's not supposed to be here, they gonna get help guaranteed, but you're gonna give somebody paying taxes to run around, then end up giving them like 80, 90, or $110 towards some food? Shit, what are you gonna buy in the store with $110 when you got a pack of pork chops costing you about $21? Um, a bag of potatoes is $6. The grease you probably want to fry it in is $12 for a gallon of vegetable oil. You want to get a juice, for yourself, maybe something if you got two kids or something, some soda or drinks, water and stuff like that. They go to $100 right there. That's just a meal for the day. So you got to think about stuff like that, man. We need help too, the working man. And I say we, I'm talking about everybody that's working. You need help. I don't care who you is. Stop looking at social media, because some people be on social media daily looking at what people got going on. I'm gonna be real. Some of the people on social media, not some, a lot are full of shit. A lot of them really don't have nothing going on. A lot of the men and women, a lot of mainly the women, living off the high school fame they had, and they connected with most of the people they knew from high school. And most of the niggas that mess with these people, or friends, or try to talk to somebody, a lot of them pay attention. The only reason you talking to this person off of some hype they had years ago. That's it. Like, pay attention to it. Most of the people you associated with, not saying you personally, not saying me personally, but you out there, pay attention to your circle, because some of y'all got deadbeats in your circle. Some of y'all got the biggest holes in your circle and don't want to pay attention to it. And some of y'all are, men and women, are the biggest holes in your circles. You can't run from yourself. Be true to yourself. Um, some people go out the way to be noticed or get attention from somebody, and then that's it. Like, you wasting your time. Just saying. Something crazy too. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this Congress or Senate person, was in New Hampshire. Stacy Lawton, originally at birth was named Barry Lawton. Well, this is just a little breakdown of it, something I found interesting. The initial election of state Senate representative in 2012, initial election 2012, elected to represent Nassau and New Hampshire House. 2020, Lawton was elected to New Hampshire House of Representatives in 2020 also, and served until 2022. 2023 to 2025, criminal charges. In August 2023, Lawton was indicted on charges of sexual exploitation, children, and distributing child sex images, allegedly. 2025, guilty plea. On November 3rd, 2025, Lawton pled guilty in federal court to 3 counts of sexual exploitation of children. Now, I'm saying allegedly because this is just stories I'm getting from credible sites. And as you try to look up some of the things now on this person, even go down to, like, I even tried GPT to see what can I pull up, and it starts giving me some info. Then it says restricted, though I don't know what's going on with this person, Stacy Lawton. But like I said, again, 2025, Stacy Lawton, Senate representative, born Barry Lawton, pled guilty in federal court, 3 counts of sexual exploitation of children. Sentencing for Lawton was scheduled for February 2026 of this year, but according to certain sources, he hasn't been sentenced yet, allegedly. I tried to look that up myself through some sites, and one site popped up. It showed that he hasn't been sentenced yet. Then it says restricted, removed. So I don't know what the hell's going on with that, but just to show you, the type of people. So Stacy Lawton, formerly Barry Lawton, made history. First openly transgender person elected to a state legislative in the United States, elected in New Hampshire. So that's the breakdown of this person, Stacy Lawton, formerly Barry Lawton. People, you got to get out there and vote, and don't just vote just to be voting. You got to know who you're voting for. And I'm not talking about voting against anybody who may have a different opinion of their own identity. But in general, you need to know who you're voting for. You need to know about the person you're voting for. You need to know something, about that person you're voting for, not just the color of their skin or who's endorsing them. Because a lot of people will vote for people just because they're being endorsed by somebody. Um, Here in California, President Trump just recently endorsed a gubernatorial candidate. We have one candidate here who's in hot water right now. Allegedly, he has some kind of sex scandal going on. Me personally, not talking about him, but a lot of these guys who want to get into this type of business, or women too, y'all not exempt from that. Some of y'all sexual escapades gonna, come to light. A lot of that wild stuff y'all was doing, yeah, it was fun back in the day, letting people record you and being in this wild kinky stuff, yeah, now you want to be a politician and people gonna dig deep and how this stuff is gonna come about. Remember Sarah Palin and the Glenn Rice alleged incident? you know I think it was confirmed that they did go to school with each other, and somewhere down the line Glenn Rice said they may have talked, allegedly. But who cares? Shit, there was a lot of dudes that probably would have nailed Sarah Palin back then. Hell, Glenn Rice was playing ball in school. Sarah Palin was there. Young black guy, young white woman. Hell, they liked each other. They got it on. Oh well, little Greek loving. But be aware out there too. The rise of catalytic converters stealings is back. Like real talk, people are back stealing those things. Even though shops have been restricted where they can't buy them from off the street or some shit like that, where people bringing them to them, they have to have certain type of paperwork or whatever like that. And I be saying to myself, I still beat myself up to this day because I remember I had a truck and I had to get a new converter on it. The converter that was on there, it was real old, been on there for years. But wasn't nobody thinking about palladium and shit like that. So it's like, okay, he kept the old muffler. Hey, take that shit. I don't want it. What the fuck I'm gonna do with it? A few years later, then I'm realizing how much money. I'm like, man, this dude made triple off me. I had to pay for the damn new converter, him to put it on, and he kept the old converter, which was probably full of palladium, and made thousands off that shit. That should be a ripoff, right, man? They should go after some of these spots like that. If you're gonna keep the converter, which is worth money, hell, you should have people come in there. If their converter's worth it, you tell them, hey man, just $50. We'll do the job. Just give us the converter. Matter of fact, if it's that much shit, you keep the converter. You give me $500 and you take the converter. Funny joke for you. I was watching my buddy. He posted a video on TikTok. And kind of, well, I ain't gonna say buddy do that. He sent me some videos and I found this one kind of funny, but he had left some comments behind it and he said, man, hey man, this is something I want you to bring up, man, when I check out the show. Shout out to A Boogie too, man. So isn't it funny how some women talk about the sluttiness regarding lyrics towards some women rappers, like how they degrade women, make them look slutty, female artists. For example, some lyric from Cardi, Sexy Red, maybe Meg Thee Stallion. It's like, yeah, these ladies, I don't listen to that. That shit is man. But as soon as some of these people get mad, these women get mad. That's the first thing they playing. That's ratchet shit, lyric for lyric. Giving impression and throwing off like they're about to go out and give up the pussy to everybody and it's all good. Like, ain't that crazy though? I see that shit a lot, even back in the day. Like you see it in the streets when women argue with they dudes, especially if you in like a hood area back in the day. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. As soon as she walk off, like just to piss somebody off, the first thing they do is get up in the next nigga face. Like that's crazy. But I've always said this, to what my boy A Book said, like, to that, what I've always said is, me personally, even for men, if you mad at the person you supposed to love, why would you go out and put your thing in some other woman's body? Or as a woman, why would you go out and give away your body to some man you probably don't even know or even want, just to piss somebody off? You will mess up your temple just to get back at somebody else. But I'm gonna let you know this right now. If you go out and give up the pussy to somebody because you mad at somebody else, you didn't win at all. Same thing for a man. You go out and fuck some slut because you mad at your wife, baby mama, or something. You didn't win at all. Because 9 times out of 10, like that's gonna be, you don't know what this broad done had, or did you get her pregnant, or you gonna run into her again, and vice versa too. Ladies, like some of y'all may think it's nothing behind it. Y'all can keep living that shit about, oh, it's my body, I could do what I want. Yeah, you're right. 100%. You in your right mind. You on the streets. You a law abiding citizen. You can do whatever you want with your body. You can lay with whoever you want to lay with. But my thing is, like, it's about credibility in men and women. You know what I'm saying? Because sleeping around can give you a bad rap. Even if people don't know it, you might catch something. That's a bad rap where you. So my thing is, it's nothing wrong with being who you are, staying to yourself, you know, keeping your stuff in your pants, men and women. If you like somebody, if y'all find somebody, that's different. Go find somebody that's not tied down already though, because I'm seeing that too much. Like it's a lot of people spending a lot of time chasing somebody that's already taken. Like I'm noticing that a lot in the streets, and the shit is kind of crazy to me because you have some people with preferences. They rather date people that's already taken for less responsibilities, and I've always found that kind of stupid. Some of you fellas, you need to sit back and look at your woman, your wife, because some of your women and wives look better than the woman you probably looking at on social media or on the streets. Probably got more body and everything. It's just that I don't know what it is, the ratchets out here. That's what they do. They know how to appeal and get your attention, but that's it. You got to look at the long run. Some of y'all men been with women 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Y'all willing to throw that shit away over some broad that's looking for you to take care of her 4 kids she had with 4 different guys. Ain't nobody about to do that shit. I don't care what you say. I don't care. If you one of them women that say, you ain't a real man if you don't step up to the plate and want to help take care of these kids I got. Miss me with that shit first and foremost, because I'm not out looking for nobody. I'm married. But just saying as a man, miss me with that shit. Like, don't miss me with that. If I was a single man and I was talking to some lady and found out she had kids and she came to me with some shit about you ain't a real man, you like me and want to be with me, but this what comes along with it. Well, yeah, it comes along with it. Well, it's not coming along with me because I'm not finna go along with that. That'd be me, plain and simple. That's why I tell some people, be honest with the people when you first meet them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not looking for that shit, just say it, because a lot of these people out just looking for a bang anyway. They trying to see what they can get out the deal. Especially, I mean, let's be real. If a man is in a good position financially and has something he can offer to a woman, you think a woman's not gonna try to go after him? It's common sense. She gonna try to, get all the help she can from this person. If he want to get some ass, you know what I'm saying? So wait, if he want to get up in the tail, she gonna see what she can get out of it. But at the end of the day, you can't play yourself. You know what I'm saying? Communicate. Because this dude, let's be real. I'm gonna be real with you. Any dude that's looking at a chick right now that's got a body look good and find out she got 2, 3 kids, he not finna. I don't think he finna sit there. Yeah, I'm ready to take care of all of them. Nah, especially if it's a good looking male, knowing he got options and it's just something he want to hit. He not finna do all that. So I'm just saying that. Be real, ladies. Don't sit there and hurt your own feelings. But yeah, like I say, man, I was just coming to you this morning with some little local news that happened overnight. So some of y'all get ready for the day. Some of y'all about to end your day because you worked overnight. Again, if you're in Texas and you need an attorney, or if you need any consultation from an attorney, y'all hit up Stringfellow Taylor and Associates LLC at 888-877-2779. Again, 888-877-2779. Shout out to my boy Yogi, Rose, Milo, Don, Russ, My boy Pac. Shout out to everybody, man, that usually pop on the show, man. My wife. Um, so y'all get ready for your week. Monday is here. April is in the middle of April. Uh Crazy. I'm getting emails now. 53 degrees. Some students detained by ICE. It's still going on. A lot of stuff going on. Get ready for your Monday. But yeah, man. Real talk don't end. Just take a break. I will catch y'all tomorrow.